Okay, welcome back. I'm doing a little bit of an update to my previous video. So if you watched the video on minions and getting them working and being sensed for lives and those kind of things, live variables, I'm going to do a little bit of an update to that because I wanted to make sure I had included a few things I missed in the first video. So we've got our basic level here. We've got Scratch. We've got our level sprite. And we're going to add in a couple of minions to our game. So we're going to go here to choose a sprite. We're just going to click on it. We're going to just choose a good enemy. Centaurs are creepy. Dinosaurs, maybe. What would terrify or make a cat worried? Maybe a large bat. So we're going to click on this bat, who is huge. He's pretty scary at this point. We're going to drop him down in size, probably to about 40%, just right here in the size. And this will actually, we're going to make him a little smaller. We're going to make him a 30, so he's a little bit smaller. There we go. It's about the same size generally as Scratch is. We're going to put him up here in the top corner. So what we have to do is we have to get Scratch to basically sense that he's touching the bat. So this is going to be fairly easy to do. It's a pretty basic bit of code. And I'm also going to add in a little bit here about respawns. So we're going to be dealing with life variables and respawn mechanics. So I'm going to take Scratch, pull him out of the box so that he can actually interact with this bat. Notice we're clicked on the Scratch minion here. His brain and his code for movement is right there. And we're going to add in a new bit of code. I like to kind of put them in general blocks. So this is my movement block. And then I'm going to create a block right here that's going to be my enemy and life block. So I'm going to click when green flag clicked, an event block, put that in there. And we're going to do, once again, a forever block attached underneath that. So we're going to be doing a forever check to see if a couple of different things are true. So what we want to do is we want to get an if-then statement. So forever check if, and we're going to do touching the bat. Same way that we did with touching the level and our boundary sensing there. So we're going to go to sensing, touching, sensing. If we're touching the bat, we are going to disappear because we died. So we're going to go to our looks, blocks, and scroll down until we find hide. We're going to just drop that in there. So let's give that a little test. Click the flag. I'm going to drag my guy over here, and boom, it's gone. Stop. Start the game again. Where's Scratch? He is gone. If we click on him, you can see that here in the show, the hide button is clicked. You can click on the show button. He's up there. We obviously don't want that to be the case. We want Scratch to show up once the game starts. So we're going to have to add in a little show block right over the top, outside of the forever statement, that basically says every time the game starts, we should be showing Scratch. And that's just a way to make sure that he's always visible when we start the game. So now we start the game, he's good. So now if I go here and he disappears, if I stop the game, I turn it on again, he'll show up. But he's way over there. We don't want that. So we're going to add a little bit more code and create a little bit of a respawn. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say that this is my respawn point. I'm actually going to show you how to set your spawn point for the entire game. But we're going to set this right here as our respawn point. Make sure you've got the stop button clicked so that all our coordinates update automatically in the blocks. So right now it says show, forever check of touching bat, then hide. We're going to throw a little control in there. We're going to grab a wait. We're going to wait 1 second. Actually, we're going to wait 2 seconds. Just to give a little bit of a pause so you know that something's occurred. Feels a little bit better than sort of instantly transporting to your respawn point. Which feels more like teleportation. And we're going to go to motion. And we're going to go to, and because we press stop, and if you click on Scratch here, you can see that his X coordinate is negative 205, his Y coordinate is 145, which matches what's right there. And we're going to go here. So we're going to go to that respawn point, and then we are going to show. So, start the game. He's going to move over, touch the bat, wait, and reappear at the respawn point. I kind of actually like this point right here. The stop either. I like this point right here actually as my starting point for the game. We haven't actually set a starting point for the game, so I figured this would be a good time to do so. So let's grab that same coordinate here, that x -205, y 145, and I'm going to actually just drag it up here right next to my rotation style. So that's in my general movement. I've now set a start point in my game. So even if I have my guy down here and my game, I click start, he'll now always start right there. Make sure it's not within that forever tag. If it's in that forever tag, it's going to lock you into position because it'll be forever going to that point. It must be outside. It's a one-time instance. So let's try this out again. Disappears, 2 seconds, reappears. Perfect. Okay, stop the game. Now we need to add something into this game. So we need to add a lives variable because right now it doesn't really mean anything. We're just continuously respawning. There's no sort of real punishment to that. So I want you to go down to variables, and we're going to make a new variable. So you click right here and make a variable, and we're going to type in lives. Leave all these things as they are. Click OK. Got a lives variable. You know, as it shows up there. I don't like it there. You can just click and drag it. I like to keep my variable so that I do have visible along the bottom. Live 0, and we're going to grab a little change lives. We're going to drop in right between the height and the weight, not by 1 because that's adding. We're going to change our lives by -1, and we're going to try this out. So now he goes and touches the bat, respawns, he's got -1 lives. So we don't want it to be -1. We don't want it to, when I stop and start, it just stays there. We need to set our lives to a starting point. So you can hide these or put this code in one of two places, either in your backdrops or in your level design. I'm going to keep it in my level design for now. I'm going to add in a little bit of code. Basically, this code will just set all my variables for the game, and I'll just have them all here so that I know what they should be at various points. So we'll go to variables here. We're going to go to set, not change. In this case, this will be a set because we want it to be a specific number. So set lives to, change it to 3. And stop, start. Lives are 3. Test it out. Touches the bat, lives 2. Lives 1. And lives 0. Okay, you'll notice that if I go again, it actually goes into the negatives. We're going to have to change that later. We'll create a trigger that it basically is tied to the lives equaling 0. But for now, we've got our basic lives functioning with our bat. Now, here's something that's important to know. When you're creating enemies, they actually have to all be programmed in for this bit of code. So this if statement only deals with the bat itself. So I'm going to duplicate it and drop it underneath, not inside. Now I've got 2 bat things. These basically both would go into effect, so I don't want that. But I'm going to click on my bat here, and I'm going to duplicate him. So I've got bat 1 and bat 2, and drag bat 2 over here, and go back to scratch. So right now, if we play this, we go to bat 1, we die, and respawn. However, bat 2 does nothing to us because we haven't actually programmed in what bat 2 should do. There's no interaction yet. But if I go over here where my duplicated if touching bat text is, what I can do is I can just go down and say, oh, there's bat 2. So that's important to remember. As many enemies as in your game is as many blocks of this if touching statement you need to have with your respawn in each one. So that's how you do your basic enemy minion sensing, and I'm going to cover minion movement in my next video.